Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matters to we the people. Fired former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who released an anti-Trump book earlier this year that sought to offer one last breath into the Democrats' February impeachment hopes, debunked the Atlantic hit piece published Thursday. The magazine's story relied entirely on anonymous sources to charge the president with making disparaging remarks on World War I veterans. Thursday night, Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg offered new allegations on why the president didn't visit the graves of fallen World War I soldiers on a 2018 trip to France, which the White House has continued to claim was due to inclement weather. When President Donald Trump canceled a visit to the Saint-Martin American Cemetery near Paris in 2018, he blamed the rain for the last-minute decision, saying the helicopter couldn't fly and that the Secret Service wouldn't drive him there. Neither claim was true, Jeffrey Goldberg wrote without a single source on record. Trump rejected the idea of the visit because he feared his hair would become disheveled in the rain and because he did not believe it important to honor American war dead. "Why should I go to that cemetery?" Trump reportedly said. "It's filled with losers." The president also allegedly issued more derogatory comments related to longtime rival McCain, telling White House staff in 2018, following the Arizona senator's death, "We are not going to support that loser's funeral," 3 years after telling an auditorium audience on the campaign trail in 2015 that McCain was not a war hero. Bolton's book, however, offered a different narrative of events, falling in line with the official White House claims for the last-minute cancellation in France. "The weather was bad, and Kelly and I spoke about whether to travel as planned to the Chateau Thierry Belleau wood monuments and nearby American cemeteries, where many U.S. World War I dead were buried," Bolton wrote. Marine One's crew was saying that bad visibility could make it imprudent to chopper to the cemetery. The ceiling was not too low for Marines to fly in combat, but flying POTUS was obviously something very different. If a motorcade was necessary, it could take between 90 and 120 minutes each way, along roads that were not exactly freeways, posing an unacceptable risk that we could not get the president out of France quickly enough in case of an emergency. It was a straightforward decision to cancel the visit, but very hard for a Marine like Kelly to recommend, having originally been the one to suggest Belleau would. Trump agreed, and it was decided that others would drive to the cemetery instead. The ousted Trump White House National Security Advisor also addressed the Atlantic's anonymously sourced claims in an interview with Bloomberg, denying that he ever heard any of the alleged remarks attributed to the president, and said those quoted by the magazine ought to publicly go on record. "I didn't hear him say those things," Bolton told Bloomberg, though he added, "It's certainly possible." If Bolton, however, who was a central figure on the president's foreign trips overseas as the National Security Advisor before executing a personal vendetta following his turbulent White House exit, has called the Atlantic story false, perhaps it's time the editor-in-chief re-evaluate its standards before publishing what could be entirely made up. After all, the Atlantic did just that in July when one writer was discovered by Federalist senior editor Chris Bedford fabricating a St. Louis shooting to offer evidence in support of defunding the police. The left-wing paper, owned by a Joe Biden megadonor that still employs Jemele Hill and all of the woke people who ousted Kevin Williamson for the crime of being pro-life, refused to correct the record for days even after it got caught. Let us know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share and subscribe. And check out democrepublix.com for the latest in news. Until next time.
We live in a Orwellian nightmare. We live in a Orwellian nightmare.